quand on disait que c'est toi qui es la plus belle des femmes, là, c'était catastrophe. On devrait te mettre au milieu de tout le monde, dans une position sur une croix, la tête en bas, et les jambes écartées, et on vous violait sous cette position-là. Il fallait que les autres acclament et dansent tout autour.
There has been a war here for a decade. According to the International Rescue Committee, a humanitarian relief agency, the conflict and its fallout, such as disease and malnutrition, have killed an estimated 5.4 million people in eastern Congo. Estimates of the number of victims of sexual violence vary, as some women are so traumatized and ashamed they don't want to admit to having been raped. The conflict in eastern Congo started after the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Fleeing revenge from the new Tutsi government, nearly 1 million Rwandan Hutus crossed over to eastern Congo. Among them were the Hutu militias, called the Interahamwe, who had taken part in the genocide. In 1998, the Congo was reeling from a year-long civil war. The Interahamwe joined other militias fighting for territory and mineral resources. This conflict escalated into a full-blown war, drawing in armies from 8 surrounding countries. Underlying it all was a struggle for control of the minerals such as gold and diamonds. A peace agreement was signed in late 2002, but despite the presence of the biggest United Nations peacekeeping force in the world, the plethora of armed groups carried on fighting. In eastern Congo, the South Kivu province was one of the hardest hit by the war. In 2004, Bukavu, the capital, was the scene of fighting between the men of Rwanda-backed dissidents Colonel Mutubutsi and General Nkunda and the Congolese army. At the time, the German aid agency GTZ reported countless victims of rape. The victims ranged from 1-year-old babies to 80-year-old women. Eight years ago, Honorata, who is from a town in South Kivu, was a teacher and mother of 5. But disaster struck in October 2001. While she was in the market, she was abducted by Rwandan Hutu militias. She says her life then became a nightmare of sexual slavery.
J'étais la femme de tout le monde et la femme de personne. Donc, tout un chacun qui voulait satisfaire ses besoins sexuels, bon, il venait sur nous. Et quelquefois, il criait à manger, à manger. Bon, on croyait que c'était peut-être de la nourriture qu'on nous amenait, mais hélas, ce n'était pas de la nourriture. C'était nous, les femmes, qui étaient leur nourriture.
Dr. Denis Mukwege, the director of the Panzi Hospital, has been treating women for 25 years. But he says the horrors of the last 10 years have changed him forever.
Je ne pouvais pas imaginer que les sexes pouvaient créer un si grand désastre, puisque quand vous voyez des villages entiers qui se déplacent et qui fuient, et, bon, ben, le seul motif, c'est le viol. Mais ils fuient, ils partent main vide, ils laissent leurs champs, ils laissent leur bétail, s'ils étaient dans des mines d'or ou de castérite ou de coltan, ils laissent tout ça parce qu'ils se disent, bon, ben, écoutez, je ne peux pas rester ici de peur que ma femme et mes filles soient violées.
In Panzi Hospital, the doctors introduced us to a 17-year-old girl they were treating. They were to tell us later that her internal injuries were consistent with the story she would tell us under an assumed name. Tumaini says she was kidnapped in May 2006 by an armed group of 30 men who called themselves the Partisans of Jesus. She calls them Interahamwe.
Nilikuwa wananilala kila siku alikuwa anatambusha hata mara 10. Ni bote wala mmoja? Ule mmoja juu alikuwa se komanda kila siku, lakini alikuwa mmoja. Lakini ya mara kwanza ule mmoja tu. Sasa alikuwa ile siku nikamataka 5 yote. Kisha sasa tulifika kule kunani kupori sasa ndio ule mwa akisema ndio atakuwa asinge atakuwa bwanangu.
Tumaini quickly fell pregnant. It was a difficult delivery. It lasted days. In the end, her captors decided to cut her, and Tumaini gave birth to a stillborn. But they destroyed her genitals in the process. Tumaini developed fistulas, holes between her bladder, her vagina, and her rectum.
Senyo ile mwanaume aliona vile mimi naharibika, ninaikala kule, mimi namaliza karibu mwezi mzima kule. Akiona mavi inaanza toka, mkoyo yote inaanza toka, ndio anasema enda fanya. Na kulala kwa mayani Bukere. Ndio nilikuwa nikolala kwa. Kisha akikamata, akaenda tena ananipeleka tena mjia. Kisha akinitupia tena mjia. Mimi pega sasa nikikamata safari tena nikianza enda, ndio nikichomoka kunyuma.
Bon, de manière générale, tous les groupes ont perpétré des violences sexuelles, ça c'est clair, donc ça, il faut que ce soit clair. L'armée nationale, comme les groupes rebelles, tout le monde est coupable de viols et de crimes sexuels.
La femme au Congo n'a pas de valeur. Et aussi, on sait que la base de la société, c'est la femme. Étant donné que ce sont les femmes qui produisent pour la survie de la famille. Et donc, si on doit détruire la femme qui est la base de la société, de la famille, à travers la femme, l'homme est complètement affaibli.